I've received a fair amount of requests to make a video centered around the manga, anime series, and Adult Swim classic, Inuyasha.
Because it's the best show ever?
Maybe it's because I've discussed Inuyasha in various other videos, or maybe it's because I have a co-host who constantly uses a Kagome Higurashi icon.
I love Inuyasha, I could talk about it every day.
Considering my track record of looking at anime filler, I'm going to cover the best filler villains from Inuyasha. My definition of filler villain in this case is any antagonist in the anime that is not present in the manga. Usually, these villains appear for an episode or two to cause mischief or have some generic evil plot, which non-filler villains even do. They just do it in the manga too. Sometimes the minor filler villains also work alongside major villains only to meet their demise, and the big villain goes on as if the filler never existed. And of course, joining me in this video is my mischievous co-host, Judgment Meter.
Did you know that if you track back far enough, you'll find out that Kagome and I are actually related?
But she's a fictional character.
Don't ruin this for me!
And you're a real person.
Don't!
And why does your avatar have that mask on today?
I'm dying. I'm okay.
Oh, okay. Anyway, here are our top 10 filler villains in Inuyasha. Number 10, the dried up demons. These are the lowest type of villains on the totem pole, being mindless monsters who are only evil because they attack anything that crosses their paths. But the main reason we like them is because they are in one of the funniest pairs of episodes. Kagome travels back to the modern era for school, but it turns out it's time for the cultural festival, and Kagome gets roped into all the activities like cooking, singing, and being the lead character in the play.
Is this the one where they play Princess and Prince? Oh, that's so adorable.
Yup, and her character was named Escargot Pudding.
I wonder why they chose that name, or is it just a really bad translation?
No, they literally say escargot pudding in Japanese and English. I don't get the name either.
I'm happy it's that way.
It turns out, though, the dried food Kagome brought back are actually dehydrated demons that come to life full size when heated up, and of course they mistake them for food that they try to cook, leave the room, and then chaos ensues. So Kagome and her family have to prevent the normal citizens from seeing the demons while still fulfilling her duties at the festival. The best kind of wacky scenarios, especially since it involves Inuyasha running around in the modern era to help her.
Does Inuyasha wear a hat?
Well, you shouldn't have a man with real dog ears walking around in modern Japan.
Of course he wears a hat.
Except the festival means everyone thinks he's just in costume, so he doesn't need the hat anymore. Also, hey Lum, since they're played off for laughs, the demons don't do anything real heinous before they are slayed. The worst crime they committed was ruining all the food Kagome and company were cooking.
Oh no!
It's fine. She improvised by buying out all the food in the convenience store and essentially making all the dishes with 7-Eleven cuisine.
That's how you know you're a real chef.
Number 9, Rengoku-ki, the previous rider of Entei.
This guy looks weird.
When one of Naraku's many incarnations Hakudoshi was created, one of his first acts was killing the guy who sealed the yokai fire horse Entei and forming a partnership with the horse.
Noble steed!
However, the anime added a detail that Entei's former rider Rengoku-ki was sealed away along with Entei, so Entei releases him like a good friend and they both go to conquer the world together. What a lovely generic evil plot. I guess that goes well with his generic design. I kind of have this ironic enjoyment from his design. It's like they took a basic demon and just put a mustache on him, like one you'd find on a feudal warlord.
I'm gonna say his mustache hair was just added on in post-production.
It really does look like someone had his design and took a fine-tip pen to put 2 lines above his lip like he's a stock image of a waiter. It didn't even match the color of the hair on his head. It's like he bought the wrong color of Just for Men.
I really hate when that happens.
Speaking of Dai, he's killed by Hakudoshi in the same episode he's revived in. I guess we needed to see how powerful this child is, so Rengoku-ki was created to build up someone allegedly strong for Hakudoshi to murder. As Rengoku-ki's cut in half, he says, "Am I going to die?" I don't know, man. Can you survive being split vertically in two? The only thing of note Rengoku-ki even got to do was tell Kagura she's going to be his bride, and Kagura basically told him back, "Are you freaking kidding me? No." Rengoku. That summarizes the threat of Rengoku-ki pretty well, actually. Number 8. Chokyukyai. He's a boar yokai who's kidnapping women in a village to become his bride by putting a headband on them that makes them fall in love with him. The Dragon Ball fan in me got excited when he had a sidekick named Son Goku, but then Chokyukyai straight up says he's related to the pig monster from Journey to the West, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, early Dragon Ball's a parody of Journey to the West, which is why Chokyukyai has the same plot as Oolong when he first appeared. Chokyukyai's episode is played up for laughs. He takes himself seriously, but when no one else does, he's like, well fine, I'm taking Kagome. I'm in love with her now and making her my main girl.
Oh, that's not weird. That happens a lot.
But first, shenanigans as he accidentally hypnotizes Moroku and Inuyasha before taking Kagome.
That's a sexy I'm gonna touch you now face.
Then he takes Kagome since they've ran their course with that joke for the episode.
It fits her head better than it fits his head.
He brings Kagome back to his lair to live with him and his 20 or so wives.
This is getting kinky.
No, he's pretty uncreative since they all just watch him eat and don't do anything else. And then we comedically resolve everything, with Shippo pretending to be a woman, Inuyasha fighting him a bit, and Kagome sealing him away, so he's never seen... Okay, we're talking about Entei again. For some reason, he makes a cameo when Hakudoshi is beheading a bunch of demons. He arrogantly thinks he's strong enough to be a target and tries to preemptively strike, but Entei no-sells him and kicks him right out of the series. Now he was never seen again. I'm not sure what made him notable enough for a return cameo, but hey, more of him. Number 7. Genbu, Byakko, Seiryu, and Suzaku. Oh, I remember these guys so well, I don't even have to refresh my memory. They're known as the Saint Beasts, and they had this plan to mind control all the depressed people on Earth with their insects. So the main team had to defeat them one by one. Genbu was this rock turtle monster who could hide in solid rock. Byakko was a tiger man who could bring his hair to life. Seiryu was a nice guy, not a nice guy. And Suzaku was their leader who had lightning storm powers. He also had an annoying bird that no one liked. Now Yusuke had to...
Hakusho? Inuyasha? What are we watching? What show is this?
Wait, Inuyasha stole the names of these characters?
How could they?
No, the real reason is they were all just influenced by the 4 symbols represented by animals in Chinese astrology, which is why these Inuyasha demons can transform into animal creatures. They mirror the animals in their mythology. In their small stretch of episodes, they all serve the filler villain Hoshiyomi, who may be stronger than the 4 of them, but these 4 minions have more interesting powers than their boss, all related to their animal counterparts. Well, Byakko's pretty boring since he just bites, but Seiryu can do this fancy scale manipulation. Genbu is probably my favorite of the bunch since they take his turtle powers and turn him into Gamera, the kaiju. And then there's Suzaku, who's kind of a pervert.
That's not a nice touch. That's not good. I don't think Hojo likes that.
Hojo's ancestor. Suzaku also turns into a giant bird and more seems to be annoying rather than murderous. He just pecks at Shippo while the other shinobi are making a clear attempt at killing. Really could go for some roasted pheasant right now. They may die shortly after each of their fights start, but at least they all die to a strong attack. They all get wind tunneled, so it's better than going out to some nameless claw slash. And I guess I should mention their boss Hoshiyomi, who's a yokai shinobi or demon ninja like the rest of them. He mostly clones himself and does Naginata things with a tragic backstory. He also kidnaps Kagome as part of his evil plot.
Wait, I've seen this before. This has happened.
Hey, she's a high-demand person. Hoshiyomi does plenty of original things, like go into this red-eye demon mode when he unlocks his true power.
Hey, it's like Inuyasha!
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, how about the tragedy that Hoshiyomi is a yokai in love with a human who uses spiritual powers, and only, well, you see, it was episode 137 by the time he showed up, so they were probably short on plot lines for filler at that point. Surely no one would notice. Number 6, Kuwaramaru. He was some commanding military officer that the sorceress Urasue revived for some reason.
Oh no! Nothing good happens from being revived by Urasue.
She's just a sweet old lady. What could she have possibly done wrong?
The whole Kikyo incident, all of it.
He's really into this whole resurrection thing since he willingly calls Urasue his mother.
I don't want Urasue as my mom. Yeah, look at those eyes, so creepy. Moisturizing face mask would do her wonders.
He's a warlord, so he has some vague conquering the world strategy, but he also bears a grudge against Kikyo since he loved Urasue enough to resent Kikyo for killing her. Kuwaramaru used a clay sculptor named Enju to make him clay soldiers under duress that he could control, like how Urasue brought the dead back to life using clay, so he's continuing Mom's legacy while terrorizing villages. Enju took her own life to escape him, but she was reluctantly revived by Kikyo, and discovering she was alive, Enju was pissed. You almost feel bad for Kikyo since she was trying to do something nice for the first time in her second life and the person wanted to remain dead. The plot reason Enju was revived was so she could info dump all the backstory on the villain of the day and retcon them into the main story. Yup, Enju was totally there when Kikyo was revived, forcefully working for Urasue. She was just standing behind a rock, a really big rock. Kuwaramaru's powers of using mindless clay soldiers seem pretty lackluster, especially since his ace in the hole is that they're filled with miasma. Ah, so you read Naraku's cookbook. However, after seeing copy-paste soldiers break in battle for 10 minutes, he pulls the out-of-nowhere power of summoning a giant monster demon from the ground in the last 2 minutes of the episode and jumping on its shoulder. With such a big reveal, you think, oh, so we're gonna get another episode with this guy, I guess. But no, Inuyasha was tired of this episode and just destroys him and everything else in the area with just one slash. I kinda like how sudden this ending was. It almost made it feel like self-parody, especially considering this filler episode flashed back to an earlier part of the episode and flashed back to Kikyo killing Urasue 3 separate times. Number 5, Tesso. He has the basic plot of wanting to obtain more power, but he has an interesting way of doing it which makes him more entertaining than other one-off villains. He needs to cover the world in rats. He's a rat yokai, so he has the power of rats, I should have guessed. Though his plan is more in-depth. He has to trick the villagers to chase the Kirara Kilala palette swap cat Kuroro out of the area, since cats chase mice and that's his ultimate weakness and fear. He follows house cat logic. I love it. Other than those details, he's pretty weak. He mostly poses a threat by creating a giant illusion of himself, but he's ousted pretty quickly. If Shippo outwits you, you might have a problem. I do like Tesso's other arbitrary powers though, where he has to eat a human child to get stronger, and he has a mouth laser, which he refers to as his rat powers in the dub. When I think of rat powers, I imagine chewing things or him actually summoning a horde of rats. He just calls it the power of Tesso in Japanese, but I find it funny that a laser constitutes as a rat-themed attack in the English version of the anime. Number 4, Momiji and Botan. These characters are not evil and they only fall in the villain category with a technicality. They are deceived by the canon villain Tsubaki into thinking Inuyasha is an evil yokai and Tsubaki is a good priestess from their shrine. They only act as antagonists of the episode due to a misunderstanding, but I really just consider them a short-term villain because I like their episode. After Tsubaki's deception, they try to defeat Inuyasha and crew while Tsubaki secretly tries to summon some big dumb monster. They seem somewhat competent, bumbling around with their useless paper doll soldiers that are the size of actual paper dolls with the strength of actual paper dolls. However, it was all a ruse, and for comedy, since the doll's goal was to obtain some hair so the priestesses could do one of my favorite Inuyasha gags, make big dumb clones of the characters.
You're so cute.
You can tell by just looking at them that this is going to be a funny fight.
He looks so mad. Look at his toenails.
I don't know what's better, fake Inuyasha's imitation attacks or fake Kagome's goofy smile.
Kagome looks serious, like she's gonna get some expletive censor. Done.
Then they learn the truth and never try to hurt anyone again. Well, if they find you cute, they might hurt you, but less intentionally.
Oh, look how much they love Shippo and Kilala. Enough to squeeze the life out of them. See, you shouldn't push your hugs onto little children. Some kids don't like to be hugged. They might save up that anger and kill you when they're adults. Or it may just scar them for life.
Number 3, the woman who loved Sesshomaru. Well, her name's actually Sarah, but the episode's name is the woman who loved Sesshomaru, so I call her that as a nickname, even though it elongates her name greatly. Anyway, her episode plot features Sesshomaru heavily, which means you must love this one, Judgment Meter.
I don't know if I've seen this episode, actually. It's an episode that I should have seen.
Really? You don't know the tragic tale of Princess Sarah's love for Sesshomaru?
She's a princess! Sesshomaru should marry a princess. He has the hair for it.
I don't know if you'll like the idea of them together after learning her true nature.
He can be a single dad. It's okay.
After Sesshomaru saved her kingdom from invaders, she fell in love with him, but her father despised him for being a demon, so he tried to kill Sesshomaru. Bad move there, buddy. Her dad was defeated easily. Her father then burned down the kingdom and himself out of madness after the failed attempted demon murder, and Sarah went on to become a nun. Upon falling ill, though, a mass of yokai granted her the ability to live on in exchange for her letting them animate her body so she could fulfill Sesshomaru's main goal of getting Inuyasha's sword Tetsaiga. However, her transition into a demon did not go as well as it did for Onigumo when he did this. Sarah seems to be your standard deceitful villain, pretending to be a normal girl that just needs help and only something in the shape of a sword that looks like Tetsaiga can help her. And once again, Shippo shows he's the best analytics guy in this anime, as no one suspects a thing until it's too late. She also has this cool power of turning people into glass, or ice, or some solid object. However, Inuyasha wasn't the only one tricked here. Turns out the lesser demons fooled Sarah to overrule her mind and body in attempts to deceive Sesshomaru so they could kill him. Yet Sesshomaru is too smart for such a trick, as he breaks this fake body open like the world's most disappointing piñata. I will say, they tricked me until the reveal, so I can't blame Sarah for believing them. Glad she at least got some resolution after the smoke cleared, but I'll keep that part a secret, despite spoiling the other 37 minutes of these episodes. Number 2, Gyu-oh. We meet him as the human Izumo, and from the time he's introduced, you're thinking, okay, when is he gonna betray him? While all the wisdom he spouts on the Shikon no Tama is his true passion, we learn his main goal is to clone the Shikon no Tama.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work, dude.
Izumo is also half demon like Inuyasha, but his demon side only comes out at night, when he calls himself by his demon name, Gyu-oh, and that's his reason for creating the new Shikon no Tama. He wants to use it to get rid of his demon half. Nothing truly sounds wrong with this plan. He likes being human, and werewolf transformations are annoying, until you learn he can only do this by kidnapping other people and using their spirit energy to forge new jewels. And by werewolf, I mean werebull. The problem is, most humans he uses only create temporary jewels, so they break easily and are poisonous to humans. What made his expected deception interesting is he used a red herring demon as a leader. This guy, Orochi Dayu, is technically the leader of the horde of demons that helps Gyu-oh gather souls.
His eyes don't blink, it's creepy. He's just looking into your soul.
He's seen commanding them, handing out temporary jewels, and even takes on Inuyasha, but as soon as he transforms in the climax, he's finished off instantly, allowing Gyu-oh to take over. I was expecting Gyu-oh to just betray this guy or join the hero side with a change of heart, but no, this incident was more a display of not everything always goes as planned, and Gyu-oh was blinded by his need to clone the jewel so much so that he abandoned his humanity in the process. Good subversion of my expectations. What doesn't subvert them is this Orochi Dayu guy is just the fake water god design from many episodes ago. I hope that guy got royalties from this guy for ripping off his look. Also, his frog friend looks just like the frog guy from the beginning of the series. Gyu-oh seems to have teamed up with the Copycat Brigade. Honorable mentions, because why not? The Snow Maiden. She's technically just a yokai who lures in men, so I'm sure you see this turning into a Moroku gets bamboozled episode. The bear yokai from Only You Sango. I have absolutely nothing to say about him, but I was excited to point him out for some reason. And the younger sister of the Thunder Brothers. She's in one of the funniest episodes, and I think the only reason I didn't put her on the list is because I did not want too many purely comedy villains here. I'm already starting to think she got snubbed. That being said, her motivation is really just to defeat Shippo for a box of crayons, so the stakes have never been lower.
They're little, it's not their fault.
Sometimes the best villains can bring out the best in the heroes, even if they are not the most powerful enemies. Thinking of that, I ultimately chose number 1, the Panther Demons, and their king, I guess. What I found the most interesting about these villains is they linked back to Inuyasha's father, so they had a revenge motive directly related to the protagonists and not only about the jewel shards. That being said, they needed the jewel shards for part A of their plan.
Like everything else.
The Panther Demons wanted to revive their king, who was slain by the father and allow him to get revenge on both Inuyasha and Sesshomaru because they were the next of kin. They also got Koga and the wolf pack involved, since let's call all the rivals. The demons are noteworthy fighters too, each having a distinct elemental theme. The leader was ice with an ice weapon, the Ed lookalike was fire, the big guy was electricity, and the kawaii one used flower power. What element can we put that one under? Earth?
Why not?
They were formidable too, not just being one-and-done minions who die right before the big boss comes out. They were able to fight to a draw a few times and change up the matchups, so you don't just see one target Inuyasha every time, another target Sesshomaru, etc. They would take on different members of the protagonist faction and show off new flashy attacks in every fight. What actually did them in was their own plan. Their skeletal king was revived, but he needed souls to regain his living body. So after rudely asking his subjects for souls a few times, he just says, "Give me yours," and kills 3 of them. Either that is savage, or he was acting like a petulant child who couldn't wait 5 minutes for his precious souls. What, you're still salty over your loss to Inuyasha's father? Oh, he killed you, what of it?
Well, tough nookies.
The fight with the Panther King felt like a boss battle, since he was clearly stronger than the heroes due to his size alone, but wasn't as personality heavy as his subjects. He's definitely claw-centric with his attacks, firing claw beams and doing these fingernail missiles. I feel he has a future as a Gundam. He also does the old-fashioned claw-at-ya move. He's a seemingly unstoppable Panther warrior.
Oh, he's not purple.
That's the other Panther warrior that you're thinking of.
Oh, look at that.
The point is, he's a big panther man that does big panther things.
He's freaky. What is wrong with him? He doesn't look like a panther. He's like a mutated mouse with horns and claws.
Don't you mock him. He indirectly does what everyone loves to see, and that's forcing Inuyasha and Sesshomaru to team up in order to take him down.
No, it gives me the warm and fuzzies.
Also, Tenseiga somehow weakens him. I was never sure what was up with that logic. Anyway, to avoid going on longer than an actual filler arc, I'll end it off here, with the Panther Demons, their feline minions, and their big angry supervisor topping this list. So what did you think? Did I cover all your favorite filler villains, or were there a few that gave Inuyasha and company a bigger run for their money? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.